Good morning. Well, I'm up in my own garden for a change, and I'm dealing with this rather problematic tree here, so I thought you might find it interesting. So this sycamore tree here, I planned to take it out about 4 years ago, but I've been putting it off because I wasn't 100% sure how to do it. Now the problem with trees is they carry on growing, so it's even more of a problem now. There's two main problems. One is access, and the other is where to drop it. So obviously I'm limited with where to drop it because I've got greenhouse here, and I've got small fruit trees here, and I've got a big apple tree there that I don't want to get damaged. I've then got this laurel here, which, to be honest, I'm not too worried about the laurel, but it might get tangled if I drop it in that. So my plan is to drop it into that and just hope it doesn't get tangled, because I'm very limited with options. The other thing is access, because that's my house down there, and that's a big drop. So I've put that ladder up, but to be honest, it doesn't feel that great. It's probably worse using that ladder, so I might not actually use it. But this is all going to go for firewood. My main thing is the insurance company don't like it if I've got trees too close to the house, and this one is getting to the height that the insurance company won't pay out if it falls on the house. So I need to get rid of it. So my plan is to cut it as high up as I can and fell it this way, and then cut the lower section down afterwards. So yeah. Right, well that's not too bad. That landed where I wanted, so I'm going to cut that out smaller for now. Obviously I'm going to either cut it into firewood or shred it later on, but yeah, for now I just want it down and off to the side so I can get the rest of this down. So right. On to the next one. Now the saw's overheating because that is on the limit of what I can cut with it, so I'm going to give it a while to cool off. That is stable. I have cut into it, but I haven't cut far enough to cause any problems. But that means for now I'm going to do a bit of shredding. Right, back to cutting this one down. This is going well. Hopefully it carries on like this. So we've got this one here, which is the next one I'm going to do. So it's pretty much vertical. It can't fall that way because there's branches behind it. But if we come around here, it does lean off slightly that way. So I just have to make sure that when I cut my notch to leave a little bit more on that side to pull it that way. Yeah, that should go okay. Just wait for the horses, they don't like the chainsaws. I was hoping the shredding would fill the time, but unfortunately both batteries are now flat on my saw, so I can't carry on with that. I've got to leave it for a good hour to let the batteries charge, so I can sit and put my feet up and have a relax for a while. Well, the battery's not fully charged on my mini chainsaw, but I'm getting fed up of all this relaxation, so I'm going to try and carry on. So the next one should be relatively easy, because it's this one here that splits off into two branches, so I'll take that down as two separate pieces. That will give me access to the one that's behind it as well. That's going to be the one after, but of course we're now starting to get to the ones that are leading away, so it's going to get interesting from now on. So right, let's get this one out. Throwing was never my strong point, but I managed to get it up over that branch up there, which is excellent. So that's now tensioned across. I've tied it to the laurel there. The branch I've tied it to is absolutely massive. That's not going anywhere. So that's now tensioned that. So rather than it leading slightly that way, it's now leading slightly that way. So that should go where I want. Right, let's get that one cut. Right, so that's the next one tied up. Got a bit of pressure pushing it that way now, and it's leaning slightly out that way. Not much. It might get caught in the oak tree, hopefully not. Yeah, let's get that one down. There we go, no problem. Okay, so we're down to the last two, and these are the ones that most likely cause problems. So they're both leaning out that way slightly. Now I've tied this first one up, but you can see this one I'm a little concerned about because it's got a lot of damage to it. So that's going to be less predictable when you cut into it, because it's not even all the way around. You can't make a hinge and go, oh yeah, it's definitely going to go this way. The other thing is there's a couple of branches that go behind the other one. But I want to cut this one down first, because if it goes wrong it's more likely to get caught in the other one rather than through my roof. So right, let's give it a cut and see how it goes. Okay, so we're on to the last one. So I've tied that nice and high up there. I used a slip knot to slide the knot up to there. I didn't climb all the way up there. And then I've tied it onto the apple tree there rather than the laurel. So that is pulling it this way as well as pulling it that way, because obviously we've got it leading over. So hopefully that should go where I want it. Yeah, this is going to be the biggest one out of the lot because it's the furthest one forward. So I'm not going to be able to cut it anywhere near as high as the others. But yeah, we just have to see how it goes. I'm sure it'll be fine. The others have all been fine. But yeah, let's see. Right, well, it's down. That wasn't the best cut, but it's down, so that's the important thing. So yeah, I did a couple of things wrong there. Now, the first thing is, where I was cutting it, I tried to reach as high up as I could without looking, and I cut it right level with that other branch that's sticking out there. So that made it awkward to do a back cut. The other thing is, I never actually did a back cut because, one, I'd cut quite a large bud speak out, but two, the little chainsaw there, I really am pushing it to its limits, and it decided it wanted to overheat and stop working. So I wasn't able to do the back cut, but because I'd cut such a large section out, I thought, I don't want it falling that way. I've weakened it too much, so I thought I'll pull the rope. It's sycamore. Sycamore tends to snap like that quite easily, so it did exactly as I was expecting and came off. So it's currently held up by the laurel hedge mainly, but I've got enough space to get around here and work. So you can see it splits off into two branches, so I can cut that thinner one at the back, throw that over. I can then cut that about here and pull that other section up, so I can work with that. That's good. So I'm just going to let the saw cool down for a bit, and then we'll get this done. Right, so the only thing left to do now is to get these stumps down. Now it might look like I've killed that tree, but I haven't. It will regrow, especially being a sycamore. They're very hard to kill. You can see I did this one a couple of years ago, and that's all sprouted out. I can't remember if that's a year or 2 years growth. I think that's 2 years growth. But yeah, it's going to take a long time to get back up to that. That's probably 25, 30 years worth of growth. So if I give it 15 years, I should be able to cut it down. It should be a lot thinner and a lot easier to do. So right. Well, the hedge took a bit of a battering, but that should soon bounce back because it's laurel. But it's a good job done. The insurance company should now be happy because I haven't got a big tree hanging over the house and I've got a big pile of firewood. Now, it's going to take 3 years for it to dry out, but I'm going to have a big pile of firewood in 3 years' time. Right, I'm going to cut that up. I'm not going to bother recording it. I think this video is long enough. So I shall end it here and I shall see you later.